What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Yesterday was super windy, super rainy, and man, Mother Nature was doing some damage. If you guys look over here, the entire tarp is gone from the framing, and that's because the wind tore it all up. I came out here yesterday to cut off the rest of it because the entire framing was bouncing up and down as the wind was hitting it. Not only did the wind did the damage to this, the wind also knocked off a part of the tree. Yesterday when I came home, there was a bunch of tree branches here, there was a bunch of tree branches over there, and I'm very fortunate that it didn't touch my car. And while all of this was happening, I did end up pushing my car back during the rain. You can see the gap of the dirt where the car used to sit, and I pushed it as far back as I could while slipping in the mud. So this giant branch right here was actually supposed to be like somewhere right here, but I don't know if you guys can see it. This branch is wedged up against that branch, which is why the branch is now on this end and not over there. So I was a little worried that this is going to fling back. Now, if you guys look up there, I cut off a bunch of branches just now. I literally just finished doing some landscaping here in front of our house, and I chopped off a lot of the branches that was hanging to about right here. The branches were never this low. It was so low that I can actually like touch and pull on it. So I ended up just chopping off a bunch of that in case it does fling back. All of the branches that was here doesn't go snapping that way. So chopped a bunch of branches off, cleaned the tree up a little bit, and while we were doing all of that, I went ahead and just mowed the entire lawn because, you know what I'm saying, it is trash day tomorrow, and while all the branches and everything are over there, I figured let's just make that pile bigger. So me and my nephew got the leaf blower, blew the entire street, or at least our section. We blew all of the leaves that came off our tree all the way right there, piled it up, made 2 piles there, and you know, just kind of spent a little bit of day around the house to fix all of the stuff that the freaking Mother Nature destroyed yesterday. While we're still here, while we don't have I mean, we have rain, while we're not having crazy rain right now, it's crazy to say, I still want to work on my car. It's super exposed to the element, and I'm gonna try to get as much done as possible. Super simple tasks today. I want to install my radiator setup. I did mention in a lot of videos that I was going to do the cooling system, kept pushing it off, kept pushing it off, kept pushing it off, and the reason for that is because I was trying to figure out a way to make a shroud, because I want to make a shroud setup for my radiator stuff before it goes in, because once the T-bar, the intercooler, everything goes on, it's going to be hard to get the radiator back out. So I was like, you know, I just want to do it while we do it the first time installing the radiator. But I think because I don't have material and the waiting game is just killing me right now, I want to just install it. I want to install it with my fan on there, and then later down the road, I'll buy like a Hush Performance shroud and a dual Mishimoto 10-inch fan setup. If you guys don't remember, we are running the Volkswagen Scirocco radiator. This is the tuck style that we use for the EF guys, which will work for the EG, DC, EK, and any other chassis you want to run this on. This has already been prefabricated and everything to fit my car, so literally it's just bolt on, but right now we got to figure out the fan setup before we do that. So I'm running a SPAL fan. This is the part number right there. And I've always used this one for all of my B series setup on a half core. This is a 13-inch fan, I believe it is, or 12. It draws, I think, 1300 CFM, which is crazy. And this has always cooled down my turbo cars. I've been putting this thing off for a little while because this fan is a little bit bigger than the radiator, and it's actually going to overhang a little bit. This is also one of the reasons why I haven't made a shroud, because I wouldn't know how to actually run this because it's so freaking huge. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it hangs off a little bit right here, right on both sides. Wait, there's a flat spot here. What if I turn that around? Oh shit. Oh wait. Okay, that actually works. Huh. Somehow I overthought this. Okay, well, looks like that's going to work for me. And looks like I'm just gonna put one giant one right in the center instead of the dual fan setup. Orale, boys. I don't know how I didn't see this before. This is gonna work. So now we're changing plans. Originally, I was gonna put this off to the side, and then I was gonna run a smaller fan over here just so we can have 2 fans set up. But it looks like we can get away with just one right in the middle. And I think this is gonna be plenty. right? And I'm gonna figure out how to secure this down and to get the fan away from the core and the fins itself, because definitely don't want to mess that up when this fan is, you know, spooling up hard and vibrating a lot. So let me come up with something real quick. I need another license plate, and these are from past cars that I've either junked or sold. Look at this one, K20SWAP. This one came off the RSX. I want to keep that. This one, this is the wagon that I bought from Portland, Oregon, and this was the start to the K-swap in my wagon. The wagon from Portland, Oregon had K20 in it. Got 2 of those plates. Oh, okay, well, I guess I'll use this one since it is all freaking messed up and everything. The R6 did have a front end collision, and I'm gonna assume this is the front plate because there's no tags on here. That's pretty cool. I use riv nuts right here for the fan, and then these 2 right here are gonna be for some tabs to mount it to the radiator itself. With the foam in place right here, it pushes up this plate enough that the riv nut does not touch the fin. So I think we're golden there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and scuff this up and paint it black. This one I'm gonna leave it raw, so when you look into the engine bay, you'll see the K20SWAP license plate right here. So we have the K20 plate cut out, we have the riv nuts installed, and we have the seal on the back side. I added 2 more in the middle so that the center here doesn't bow down once the fan is sitting on it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put this on, secure it down so we can make the tabs to hold the shroud, the plate shroud, to the radiator. Turn these 4 guys right here into tabs. Voila! We got 4 tabs. Now let's bend these into place. Got some Resto Tuner hardware. Let's go. We have a problem. I was today years old where I just realized that these bungs are not 10 millimeters. They are 8s. And I don't have any 8s. These brackets are straight, obviously. And what I did was I used a vice grip and a mallet right there to bend this bracket into an S shape, and the reason for that is because this is offsetted. It is taller than this guy, and I want this to sit nice and tight on the radiator core. So the S shape is pretty much going to press down on it, so that way it's nice and snug. So I did find one Honda 8mm right here, and I'm pretty much just going to use this one to make all of the brackets, and securing this one into place. I drilled a hole after I bent the S shape, and then I used a center punch, this guy here. So what I did was I bolted it up right here, and then I hovered this over the riv nut, and then I pushed the bracket underneath it, and then I just punched it down, drilled it out, and drilled it a little bit bigger so we have wiggle room, right? And now we have the hole for 10, which now I can secure this bracket all the way tightened down, so that way I could take this and move it over to the other one. So I'll show you guys real quick. See how it pressed it down, and then once I secure this, it's going to also press it down, make it nice and snug tight. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Let's knock out the other 3. So guys, we have our license plate fan shroud all set and done, hardware secured, and all of the window seals are in place. Now there was a giant gap right here, and I compensated it with the window seal. I originally was gonna zip tie like the lip of the shroud onto the shield, because I was worried that these might be too thin, that the fan would kind of like, you know, move up and down and pull away from the core. But turns out these suckers are pretty freaking sturdy, and I'm not going to worry about the fan popping off. Aside from that, I'm not too worried about these little holes here, because I was going to mount the fan directly onto the core. So with it being up with the 2 shroud, those 2 little holes not really going to matter too much. So I'm ready to install this. The only thing is I need to wire this up for the OE plug, so that way it can plug up to the fan wire right there on the frame rail. And I'm hoping to run this per the ECU, turn on and off when it's supposed to. But aside from that, this thing is ready to go in. So let's go ahead and test fit this, because I didn't test fit the fan on the radiator before doing this, and it looks like it might be a little close. It's hitting my clutch line. I'm probably gonna have to take off my clutch sleeve. We are secured. Made this bracket right here when we modified the radius support for the radiator. So it goes right here. All right. Make sure our clutch slave still fits. Turn this down to 2. Heck yeah. I'm going to temporarily put this plug back on because I don't have the vacuum line for the brake booster just yet. Okay. So for the lower radiator hose, we're going to be using this Master Pro 2089-3 from O'Reilly's, and this is the part number that I had gotten when I did the KRX video, when I did the tuck radiator on that car. This S shape right here is perfect if you're running the stock thermostat housing, and I'm not sure how this is going to fit since we have the bull boost unit, and the bull boost unit sits in a different position than the factory one, so we might have to cut this end here because this little sharp 90 is going to go towards the radiator. So let's go ahead and get this thing fitted on and see what modification we need to do. Snake this one through, get this side on. This might be a little hard for you guys to see. Thermostat housing right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and just push this up there and see where it lands. Okay, so we definitely need to cut it, but it looks like that's going to work. This thing is great, but it never goes all the way through. Never. But no worries. That's why we have sharp razor blades. So we have the lower radiator hose secured. There's no kink in the lines. That's freaking awesome. Over here, the thermostat housing secured as well too. The worm clamp is facing down so we can access it from the bottom. And now let's do the top hose. So before I went to the parts store yesterday to grab the lower radiator hose, I was going through my garage here to see if I have any type of hose that I can use for the top. Because when I was watching the KRX video, I used a factory RSX radiator hose, like an OEM radiator hose, and it worked. So because this configuration is very similar, I was going to the garage to see what I have and where to go. So this right here is a B series lower hose, B series. Like go to the store, 94 Integra, 93 Integra lower radiator hose, and it looks short because I've modified it. I chopped this bottom off for the CSF tucked radiator right there. You can see a little elbow coming off the top, and this is actually a B series hose, just shortened down. So all I did with this one is, it's supposed to be like this, right? All I did was flipped it over like that, and then we have this little downfall right here, right? Because this is taller than this port. Most people would do an inline filler neck like a Moroso unit, which is what I did in the wagon, but because I modified the stock K20 to have a fill neck on that, we don't have to adapt a Moroso style one inline to the hose. Instead, this is just going to be one piece, 2 hose clamp, and that'll be that. So right now it looks like, I don't want to misjudge this. I also got to consider my charge pipe is going to be coming through here as well too, so I got to make sure I have space for that, or 45 and go underneath here. But you know, we'll see where this lands, and then we'll build the charge pipe accordingly. I'm going to use the black worm clamps for the top just to make it a little more sleeker. Bada bing, bada boom, dude. Not too tight, not too loose. I see the bulge. All right, top radiator hose, done. So it looks like I misread the weather report. Super clear skies today, and tomorrow is gonna be downpouring rain with 80% chance. So I guess we got a full day of sunlight. So I'm gonna go ahead and bleed my clutch. I have my little bleeder reservoir. The clutch line is open because the entire system is brand new, so there's no fluid in here whatsoever. I'm leaving it open so I can pour it in, pump it until the fluid becomes solid, because there's going to be a ton of air in here, and then we'll close it and do the 3 pump hole bleed sequence. As I was sitting there pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping, we weren't building any pressure. Then I remembered my brother did the brakes on his wagon, and I remember that he mentioned to me he has a freaking vacuum kit. Work smarter, not harder. So pretty straightforward. Got a little diagram right there. Pump some pressure into the line, and all I did was just open this and let the pressure work. Look at all that fluid coming through right there. Golly. Pump, pump. 20. Let this do its thing. So I'm going to keep doing this until that bubbled line becomes solid. I'm going to go inside and press on this. It does have an Exetti twin disc. Okay, we have a twin disc in here, so the pedal is a little firm, but that's kind of granted. So let me show you guys. Hopefully you guys can see that it is moving as much as it needs to. On a twin disc, it is very important to have a clutch stopper, and on this pedal assembly, because this car was automatic, the neutral safety switch is right here in the center console. The neutral safety switch hole for the sensor on top of the pedal is actually open right now, and I have a bolt in there to adjust in or out to act as a pedal stop. Can't really show you guys because it's at the very top of the pedal. Dashboard is on. So now that we have the clutch bled out, man, it feels good. It feels better than the wagon. Definitely not better than the KRX. Let's put the radiator back in. This is the hybrid racing radiator cap that came out of that burnt RSX in Newark pick and pull. And I remember taking this. Does it fit? Oh, it does fit. Okay, might have to clean that up. Normally, when I clear out my tool bag from the junkyard, I stack a lot of stuff onto this little box right here. Ah, you see? You see? You see? So we have the connection soldered up, black to black, blue to blue, and not all the time this is correct. I've had it where blue to blue, black to black, and the fan spins backwards. So we're gonna figure this out once we get the car to turn on. We'll jump the fan and see if it'll spin the correct way or not, and if it doesn't, we'll just switch the wires around, not a big deal. So I'm gonna go ahead and just loop this guy back together, throw some tape on there, and this back into the car. Radiator installed, clutch slave reinstalled. We have this little block off for the little nipple that was right here under the coolant housing. And then right here we got this blocked off. We have the fan switch on, and the tape is taken off so that this cardboard can come off easily. You guys already know what it is, man. CAD cardboard 80 design. We're gonna take this to make some template for the throttle body, and then we're gonna use this flat stock right here. I don't know the size of it, and we're gonna use this P75 throttle cable bracket that I got from the junkyard. So all of this right here is gonna make our throttle cable bracket. Let's get to it. Everything by the eyeball. Okay, that's how we do it. Got this nice little curve in there. Put one bolt on. Now we have our second hole right there. Now I'm gonna turn this into metal. Here it is, made out of metal. Let's bolt it up. Sorry guys, I was on the phone for like 30 hours, but we got the CAD cut out right here, transferred into this piece of metal. I put a little curve on there so it's not just a big giant piece of metal right there, right? I think it looks a little bit better. Man, you guys, I love making stuff. Throttle cable bracket all welded up. Gonna need some paint. I'm super stoked, guys. We have throttle response. I'm gonna clean everything up right now, get the ECU, get the battery into the car, then we'll fill it up with some coolant. I don't have a drain. I don't have a drain on here. It's welded shut. Secured, secured, secured. Hose down there secured. Lower radiator hose to thermostat secured. Heater hoses all secured. Blocked off. Barb in the back blocked off as well to the one right here. All right, I'm just gonna fire it with this for now, and if it looks good, we'll put coolant. We have a slight water drippage right here, and I don't know where it's coming from. It's literally coming in between the stud, but it's not coming from the old fill hole. It's not coming from the radiator hose. It's not coming from the top. Something's going on right here that I can't see. That kind of sucks. This thing's defected right out of the box. So I cut the tab off right here, exposing wherever it was leaking from, and you guys probably can't see it, but right in the center of that weld right there, there's a crack, and that seems to be where it was leaking from when I was looking at it. I couldn't get a close-up of my... So what I'm going to do is right now is I'm going to clean all the edge up, and then I'm going to weld that entire seam, all those corners right there. Let's put it back in. no more leakage. All right, guys, so we're gonna wrap it up for this video. The entire cooling system is done on the EF sedan. We took a lot of steps forward, a few steps back. Regardless, we got the radiator leak fixed and there's no other visible leaks underneath the car, so I'm stoked about that. All the coolant hoses got nice and hot, and the highest we got the temperature to was like 192. And it was weird because before I found the radiator leak, the fan would come on by itself. This time around, it didn't come on at all, which I had to pull the plug off, put a little pin in there, and bypass the system to get the fan to come on at 192, which then it dropped to about 150. Pull the pin out, went up to about 185, put the pin back in, went down to like 140, and then we killed the car. Definitely gonna have to look into why the car is not firing the fan like it's supposed to. And also we kind of fixed the idle surge a little bit. I don't know why it was fluctuating so bad. I just set the idle screw on the throttle body down a little bit to bring the valve back, and the car now idles at about 1,000, a little over 1,000, but the car doesn't surge anymore, so I'm stoked about that as well too. We made a throttle cable bracket out of a P75 and some scrap metal, and we got to get some paint on that soon so it doesn't rust up because it is mild steel. I need to get a base plate for my shifter box so we can install the shifter box and the shift cables to make sure that everything with that is going to be good and the cables aren't binded. My rear trailing arms from S1 shows up in about 2 days, and we're gonna get down with that real soon, along with the brake setup, so that way we can bleed the entire system, so we can drop it down for its first drive. And then once everything checks out after that, then we get into the turbo stuff. So I'm gonna wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the progress update on the EF sedan here with the cooling system. If you guys did, be sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you guys want to stick around for all the stuff I just blabbered into you guys' ears, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.